moving on with this Exmark 44 with FH701V Kawasaki, and today we're just going to try to get it running on its own and see what happens. So if you're interested, stay tuned, we'll get right into it. Alright guys, so we're back on this, pick up where we left off from the last video. We did get it to hit a lick or two. I haven't chased down what might be grounding the coils out yet. It could be a bad ignition switch, I'm not sure. But first thing, we're going to take this cover off back here so we can pull the carburetor off, because I want to try to get it to run on its own and see what's up with the carburetor. I'm hoping it's just the solenoid down here is bad or gummed up, but we also probably got a leaky float needle because it's leaking gas out the vent tube on the top of the carburetor. So don't know till we get it off. It's kind of nasty anyway. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and remove this back cover right here. It's 8.5 or 13 millimeter nuts and bolts to get it off, and just to give us more working room. You could probably get this carburetor off. I think there's enough room for it to slide off without doing that, but we're just going to go ahead and take it off, plus I can get better camera shots and do it that way. And then after that, two 10 millimeter nuts and two 10 millimeter bolts to come off, and then this cover will pop off. So we'll get that off, and then we'll undo the linkages and we'll see what we got. You can see there's two studs and two bolts. Gotta get that off. The ground wire comes off for the solenoid, and you want to unhook this right there. Get that loose. Then we've got to get the choke linkage loose and the throttle linkage, and there's a spring back here as well. And to get that off, it's those little clips, and I can't do this one-handed, but it just kind of rusted on there. But anyway, I'm going to pop these two off, and we'll pull the carburetor off. One more thing to get this intake off, or air filter intake, or whatever off. We're going to have to get this vent tube loose. It's a little clamp. It may be a little tough at first. Looks like one of the tabs is broken off of it, so I can't depress it like it needs to be. So I'm going to struggle with that for a little bit, and I'll come back to you. There should be a tab right there to help us get this off, but apparently somebody's been in here before and broken it. So we'll get that off and we'll pull this cover off. Okay, once you get that loose, I left one of these in just to hold this on while I was undoing everything. Like I said, the two long studs go top left, bottom right, and then the two nuts go on these studs, top right, bottom left. So see, alright, now this should just come on off, one piece. Yeah, look at that, nasty. And it's got this old blue stuff on here again, serving as a gasket. So they make gaskets for it now, but I don't know if I have any. I may have to order a set. So there we go. Next thing to do is get this fuel line loose. There's that vent tube I was talking about. Gas is just dripping out if I turn it over, and damn, that carburetor's nasty. So we're going to pull it off, and I hate to see what's on the inside. Bad news is they don't make this carburetor anymore. You can buy something similar to it, but they don't make this exact one. So we're going to try to rebuild it if we can, or clean it up, and whatever we have to do with it. knows. I'm scared to look inside of it, really. And once again, this clamp's broken. I imagine from the fire. I'm just getting some needle nose and try to get it loose the best way I can. There we go. That clamp wasn't good nothing. Damn. Ooh. Nasty. Alright, we'll just get that back up out of the way. And now everything's loose. That should be loose. We ought to be able to just pull this carburetor straight off. It might need a little tap or two. It is on there, boys. Well, I don't know how we're going to get it off. Just have to keep on tapping on it. Try not to break nothing. There we go. It's starting to move a little bit. I'm going to continue to do that until I can get it loose. I was able to pry on it a little bit with a screwdriver. There you go. Look at the nastiness in this. Alright. So behind that you got this spacer. I'm not even going to mess with this. And I think that's a gasket that goes there in between. The parts diagram shows a gasket, then this spacer, and then another gasket. And then on the front side a gasket to go to everything. So we're probably going to have to order a new gasket. Whoever did this siliconed it. Was in here last. They just siliconed it. So let me clean this up on the outside, and then we'll take it apart and look at it. And we're going to test this solenoid as well. So I'll be back once I get it cleaned up. Okay, guys. So first thing to be cautious of is these 4 screws that hold this bowl on. Clean them out really good. I ended up having to get me a good flathead. Make sure you clean out the grooves really well and break them loose that way. They're very easy to strip the heads off. If you have an impact that you can get in there good, it may work. I have had in the past had to use some tiny vice grips to get these broken loose. This right here, the fuel solenoid, it's a booger bear. You need a flat wrench. I ended up having to put vice grips on this one to get it loose. And you can see this doesn't move at all. So that's why we wasn't getting any gas up through the jets on the carburetor. So I'm going to work on this and see if I can free it up, and then we'll test it electrically. And we're going to pull this bowl off. I'm going to do that next, so we can go ahead and get it cleaning in the cleaning process. Alright, so we'll take a look together. I got the 4 screws out. And no telling what this is going to look like. Be careful, there is a gasket underneath there if you want to try to save it. It's starting to stick. I'm going to try to take me a little screwdriver and get it off that. Get it to fall down all the way around. May have to replace that anyway, but it's worth a shot. Seeing if you can save it. I don't know if you can see that up in there. I'm just going to run my screwdriver right in there. And I believe we got it. Remember which way it goes. Actually, other than being rusted a little bit where the gas, see these two holes, it's got two emulsion tubes, one that fits in here, one that fits in here. On either side, and there's your float. These emulsion tubes, they're rusty, and this is the little gasket I'm talking about. We may be able to save that. Maybe. I hope so. Because everything else I can get by without replacing. Kind of stuck around that emulsion tube. Don't want to rip it. Get it out for that one. Because once you start spraying carburetor cleaner on this thing, it's going to get all flimsy. Which this one's kind of flimsy anyway, but we're going to try to save it. We may have to replace it, but I'm going to try. And so I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the cleaner, probably in the ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll see what we can do, find out if it's leaking or not. So we've got the carb back together, everything back on. That's how the linkages look. I am going to have to get one gasket that fits between this and the carburetor on this side toward me, unless I use silicone again. So so far no leaks. I'll put a little gas in the gas tank. We now have the coil wires tightened down. Turns out there wasn't a short, it was just because of the weak battery. So I'm going to put you on the tripod. We're going to see if we can prime it up. And oh yeah, we still got to get a choke cable. So let's see what happens. So we got the carb cleaned and back on, but it had some rusted jets. I couldn't get them out. They're just in there too tight. They're stuck, they're going to break. So I did the best I could, cleaned it out with carb spray. What we got is, now it's cranking and running fine on its own, but this cylinder over here is not getting gas. And the valves have already been adjusted, we've already done that. And they're good. So this is a 2-barrel carburetor, so this side is not getting gas. It's just too clogged up. It was all rusty and nasty. It was full of water, rusted. You know, I did the best I could. So we're just going to have to get another carburetor for it. I'm going to try one of those aftermarket ones. And unless one of you guys happen to have one, this is a FH601V. If you've got a carburetor you want to sell me for cheap, I'll buy it from you. Anyway, I'll show you it running, and I'm going to put a little starting fluid in here on this. You know, once it starts running, you can hear the other side kick on. So I know it's a carburetor issue, and we'll go from there. So if you listen close, and I spray a little in here, you're going to hear this cylinder kick on. See the difference? That's both cylinders. Anyway, I'm going to have to cut this video short because I'm running out of time. I can only do about 15 and 16 minutes at a time. But So we've got it all, you know, pretty much squared away now, except we're just going to have to put another carburetor on it and another choke cable, which I've got ordered already, and put the new plastics on. And I think we're going to be good after that. But the grounded, I thought I had a problem with the coil, but it turns out I didn't. It was just because of the carburetor, and I was getting my mind was going because there's so many things wrong with this thing. I had to just step away and think for a little bit. But appreciate all the comments. Thanks, Henry, for the suggestion. I don't know, I think the 701s or whatever have that left and right coil thing, but I think this one uses the same both coils, and there's no issue with that. So we'll see you on the next one. So stay tuned, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and when we get the other carburetor in, we'll put it on and see if we have a difference. Jungle Bob out.